FM.
Chippewa Valley Community Television presents Your Local Race. Meet the Candidates 2016.
Hi, I'm Bob Brown, News Director at Chippewa Valley Community Television, and welcome to our interview with one of two candidates for the Branch 1 Judgeship in Eau Claire County Circuit Court. Today we're speaking with Judge Brian Wright. Thank you for being here, Judge.
Bob, thank you for having me.
Judge Wright was appointed to the seat last July to fulfill the term when prior Judge Christina Bourget resigned from the position. So you've been on the bench now for how many?
6 months.
6 months.
6 months, Bob.
Why don't you tell the voters a bit about yourself, your background, and why you want to continue sitting in that bench seat?
Yes, Bob. My name is Brian Wright. I moved to Eau Claire in 1995 after graduating from Marquette University Law School in Milwaukee, and have been practicing as an attorney in Eau Claire now before my appointment as a judge for about 20 years. And in that time I'm married. My wife Haley and I have a 2.5-year-old daughter, and this is our home. And so this is where I have spent my entire career as an attorney. I was appointed as the district attorney in 2012, and I served as district attorney for about 10 months, returned to private practice after the November election, and then with the resignation of Judge Christina Bourget, took the bench in September and have been the judge since September in Branch 1.
Okay. Can you tell us a bit about your background in terms of the amount of experience in the various kinds of law, your criminal law, family, the civil litigation?
Bob, yes. I was my law partner for most of the time that I practiced in private practice was attorney Erwin Steiner. And we had a general practice firm, Steiner and Wright, and during those years my practice covered really all of the areas of law that as attorneys were educated in law school about, as well as through experience. So I practiced, of course, in criminal law. That was a big part of my practice, but also family law, civil law. I did a lot of municipal law. I represented the village of Lake Hallie and the village of Cadott for many years. I did a lot of guardian ad litem work. That was an area that I really enjoyed in terms of practice because it was advocating for the best interests of children. So I've done a lot in labor and employment, both on the employer side and on the employee side. So what I have found in terms of being a judge are that those practice areas have just been extremely important to allow me to look at cases that come before me and really know what the issues are. So that has been indispensable to me, those practice areas that I practiced in before becoming a judge.
Now, in addition to that experience as an attorney, a little bit as a judge, and your education, what kind of personal qualities do you feel you bring to the bench that makes you an effective judge?
Well, I have a passion for the law. I am one of these attorneys who, when I was growing up, never thought I would have the opportunity to be an attorney. Law school is expensive, but I had a lot of help along the way, and when I became an attorney, it was everything that I thought it would be. It is helping people, and in my family, that was just part of public service, was part of what my father and my mother taught me was important. And so as an attorney, I was able, especially with my partner, my law partner, Erwin Steiner, to really learn how to practice law. And that involves not only litigating and advocating for our clients as attorneys, but also trying to come up with agreements and resolutions that sometimes parties aren't able to do themselves. And having somebody objective and neutral coming in is a way that I think attorneys are able to help. So with that, I was able to rely, I would say, fall back on that experience over the 20 years as an attorney. And now I'm able to use that as a judge. And so as a judge, I'm a neutral. I'm not advocating for parties, which is something that I enjoy even more, because now I'm able to look at an issue from all sides and look at what the law is and then apply that law to the facts of the case.
Okay. Now, judicial races, because of restraints on judicial candidates from possibly saying things that might indicate how they might rule in certain types of cases, many times they sort of become a battle of resumes. Do you think the judges should have more leeway in terms of expressing their personal views on the issues of the day and past cases or pending cases?
Bob, I think it's a good question, and my answer to that, my direct answer is yes. And from this standpoint, the statutes define for us as judges when we should recuse ourselves. And we should recuse ourselves if we have a direct conflict. If we know a party, for example, we're friends with the person or we've worked with the person, we shouldn't be deciding that case. That would be that direct conflict that might exist. But we also should recuse ourselves if there's an appearance of impropriety. And what that means is that if there's any somebody outside looking at the case would say, well, how could this judge be fair given the connections in the case with either the issues or the parties involved. But it's usually left to the judge to decide whether or not there is a conflict or not in those cases where there might be an appearance of impropriety. And so what judges will generally do is they will say, well, I know this person, but I've only met them once or twice, and it was on a very informal basis. It won't influence my opinion in any way. And so if either of you, if there are two parties in the case, want me to recuse myself, I will do so. And I think by and large that's what judges will do in those types of cases. So the fact that a judge has a position on an issue I think can be addressed in that way. With that being said, judges also though have to be careful because if I start talking about a specific case or specific issues and a case like that comes before me, now I'm in a position where it's likely that I will be asked to be recused. So I don't want that to happen either. And that's not that I'm trying to hide anything or judges are trying to hide anything. We as judges really, at least at the circuit court level, are looking at making decisions based on the facts of the case that come before us. So whatever our general views may be on policies or issues or current events, and we certainly have those, those should play really no role in the decisions that we make because we have the statutes that we can turn to. We have prior cases that we can look at. And we look at that as precedent to see how they would apply to the facts of the case before us. And then the judge is supposed to make the decision, and we do, regardless of whatever the viewpoints of others may be. We make that decision on the basis of the law as it is applied to the facts of the case before us. So I think that there is room for perhaps greater discussion, but there also has to be some limits to that.
Okay. In light of the fact, the limits that there are on what you can discuss in a case, some have argued that rather than have judges elected by citizens, that the decisions might be better made by some sort of a commission or panel of legal experts. What do you think of that idea? Well,
it's done both ways. At the federal level, all judges are appointed. At the state level, in Wisconsin, all judges are elected. So we see both. And what I will tell you are there's strengths and weaknesses of both. The strength of being appointed is that, number one, it should be based more on, as you were indicating, Bob, the resumes and a selection process by other attorneys or other judges who see qualities in a candidate that they think would make that candidate a good judge. So that's the strength, and we see that through the nomination process, and we'll see that in the nomination process for the upcoming Supreme Court justice that we have coming. But then on the Wisconsin side, where we elect our judges, the strength to that system is that judges are held accountable to the people. And I favor that myself. I think that elections are a very good thing because in an election there's a campaign. And the good part of a campaign is that the candidates are out meeting the public, meeting the voters. And there is nothing that I think better prepares a candidate for office than having campaigned and met the citizens and the voters who are going to be voting in the election. I think it just gives a very good perspective in the case of Eau Claire and Eau Claire County of what the views are that citizens and voters have. And as a judge, it is important for me to know that because when it comes to deciding upon, let's say, a criminal sentence, and I'm looking at standards of the community and I'm looking at the need to protect the community, it's important that I know what citizens and voters out there are facing, their concerns, and so I favor the elections. I think it's a good thing. I know that it makes it perhaps more difficult sometimes for voters to decide because they just see two names and maybe don't know. But that's the advantage of the election, I think, over the appointment process.
Do you have any? You've practiced on the bench for a few months now, but you've practiced law in Eau Claire County for many years. Do you have any suggestions for how maybe the court, how they operate? Could they be done? Is there a way that changes that could be made in the operation of the courts to make them either more efficient, more fair?
I think, well, in terms, let's go to the efficiency first. I think that our courts in Eau Claire County are very efficient. There are always ways to improve. One of the things that we are trying to do, we have something called a Criminal Justice Collaboration Council. It's where all of the departments in our criminal cases, heads of departments, judges, public defender's office, members of the community, are all meeting periodically to talk about criminal justice issues. And of course, one of the big ones right now in Eau Claire is the uptick, increase in meth use and meth convictions, and the drain on resources that is having. So in terms of efficiencies, I would say collaboration is the big one. But I also want to let the public know that in Eau Claire County, I think we are doing a very good job in terms of the efficiencies in our court system. In terms of fairness, that relies primarily on a judge. And there's a simple principle that I think all of us as judges follow, and that is anyone who enters our court is equal under the eyes of the law.
Okay. Do you have any judicial role models?
I do, and those models are actually judges here where I practiced in Eau Claire County. Certainly I can look at Supreme Court justices and read opinions and be very impressed and reverent to those decisions. But where I really learned how to practice law was appearing before the judges here in Eau Claire County. And the first judge I ever appeared in front of, the first judge that I had a jury trial in front of was Judge Tom Barlin. And I learned a great deal from Judge Barlin. Another judge was Judge Wall, who is, of course, since passed away. Judge Proctor would be another one. I think Judge Stark was just an excellent judge before she came on to the Court of Appeals. So we've always had a very good bench here in Eau Claire County, and as an attorney practicing in Eau Claire County, that's really where I learned how to become a better attorney.
Okay. In the last couple of moments we have here, last thing you'd like to tell the voters as they're going into the booth, why they should choose you as opposed to your opponent?
Well, I love being a judge, and this was something that when my wife and I talked about when the appointment came open, I had talked to her about how much I had always wanted to be a judge if that opportunity ever came. I believe that what makes me want to continue as a judge most is to help people. That's what attorneys do, and as a judge that becomes even more magnified. I just have always loved that part of it. Now that doesn't mean that judges always can make easy decisions, but what it does mean is that I can represent our community in a way as a judge that even becomes more than as an attorney I was able to do when I was representing individual clients. So I have a passion for the law. I find being a judge the most rewarding work I've ever done, and I would like to be able to have the opportunity to continue to represent the citizens of Eau Claire as a judge. And
all right. Judge Brian Wright,
thank you.
candidate for the Branch 1 seat in Eau Claire County Circuit Court. Thanks for being with us today.
Thank you, Bob.
Thank you for watching, and please tune in to channel 994 on the local cable system to see the interviews for the circuit court judge seat, also for seats on the Eau Claire City Council, School Board, and County Board. And you can also see those interviews on our website, www.cvctv.org. And get out and do your duty on April 5th. Vote for the candidates of your choice. Tune into Channel 994 that night, starting at 9 p.m. to see all the latest election returns as they come in. Thanks for watching.
This program was recorded and presented by Chippewa Valley Community Television. Chippewa Valley Community Television is made possible by continuing community support. If you would like to volunteer or make a donation, you can contact us by calling 715-839-5067 or on the web at www.cvctv.org.